In this video, we're going to discuss how to get your background check on your own, what the purposes are of getting the background check. If you want to learn more about that, keep watching. So the first thing, a lot of places do background checks. So if you don't feel comfortable doing it on your own and it's not too expensive, they charge about $20 or so. It's not too much of an economic hassle. So if you want to save a few bucks, you can do the background check on your own. You can order the form online. I will put the link down below. And then you also have to buy the black ink that is used for the fingerprints, or as it's known in immigration, the biometrics. The forms aren't too expensive. I mean, it's about a few dollars and the ink itself is a few dollars. I mean, in total, you'd probably save about $10 or so if you do it on your own. And what you need to do, you need to buy the form. You need to fill it out with all of your information. You have to put where you live, the date that you filled the form out. You have to put the reason that you're getting fingerprinted. I mean, I usually put something like for immigration or for personal review. Either one of those things is correct. You want to see for personal review, what's on there. Additionally, if you use it for immigration, I mean, it's correct as well. The reason you want it is for immigration purposes. So either one of those should work. And on some of these questions, it may not be applicable. For instance, where it asks for a social security number, it may be that you don't have one. That's fine. You don't need to have one in order to fill this out. Where it asks for your country of citizenship, you put that where you are a citizen of. You put your date of birth, your height, your weight, your eye color, hair color, and you can get that information. You should know that information, but it's also on your license, and you just put that same information there. And then after you have all that done with that black ink that you purchased, you do each of your fingers in the appropriate box. Each little box has its own. Each little box says what it's for. One's going to be for your thumb, your right thumb. One's going to be for your left thumb. And, just follow whatever it says there, and you can fill it out on yourself, and you should have no problem. So let's say you do everything for the biometrics. You're good to go. Where do you send it? Well, usually you send it to one of two places. If you just want to know what your criminal history is, what the government has on you, you would send that to the FBI. The FBI, what they do is they do a federal check. So you can get your criminal background check from your state, from your police station where you live, but those are limited. So if you get a background check from your local police station, that is generally limited to that local region, to that county, to that city. So although it may be helpful, and in some cases that may be all you need, if you've lived in a certain city, if you've lived in a certain county all of your life, and whatever criminal history you do have is limited to that, then it may be that the city, the local background check is enough. That said, even if your criminal history is only limited to that area, I would still nonetheless do at least a state background check, just because, at least in California, it's not that expensive. It doesn't take too much time to do it. And it's just another layer of assurance, another layer of security that you have. It's a minor inconvenience just to get more information about your criminal history. You'll be better informed about the prior history, if any, that you have. With that said, sometimes the state or local's enough. If, however, you've lived in another state, you've moved, you had a prior criminal history in a different state, but now you live in California, then for sure it's highly recommended to get the FBI background check, because that encompasses the US nationwide. Your state background check is limited to the crimes you have in the state, whereas the federal background check is nationwide, and that will provide you with more information. And I'll put links down below with more information about the FBI background check and the California background check for those that are interested. The reason the FBI or the state or the local background check is important is because sometimes there's overlay between immigration and criminal law. So what that means is that sometimes there are certain criminal acts or certain criminal convictions that if you were convicted of a certain crime, it may be that it negatively impacts your immigration case in some way. Without knowing the specific statute, without knowing the specific conviction you had, it's like throwing a dart in a dark room. We may know, but we're not going to be for sure. And what will help any immigration attorney, any attorney you speak with, is having that background check. because that background check will tell you, okay, you were convicted, you were arrested. It'll tell you this was the criminal code section that applied in your case. Having that criminal code section, we can then analyze the case and be like, okay, this is how it affects your case in this way. And I won't get into that analysis part because it varies depending upon which code section applies in your case. I mean, there's so many different code sections, there's so many different crimes. And because of that, I wouldn't be able to discuss here the analysis part. But just know that in order to be able to do that analysis part, you need that background check. Additionally, the other reason that it's good to have the background check is that not only is it for criminal purposes, it's also helpful to see what the office that handles the biometrics, the fingerprints, has on you. So if you've entered the US, you've departed, you want to narrow down like, hey, I don't remember exactly when I entered. I mean, I remember that they got me at the border and sent me back and they took my fingerprints, but I can't tell you the exact date. And sometimes, a lot of the times, knowing what year it was is very important. So the way that we can get more information, I mean, for sure, it's not always guaranteed that there's going to be something there, but we do our due diligence, in order to help the client, in order to make sure that you have, you're well informed about all of your options. It's helpful to get this information from the office that handles the biometrics. For this, we don't need to get a new print card. We can use the same one that we sent to the FBI, get a copy of that, and then electronically send that to that office to get that information. Having that information is crucial. It may be that, it solidifies what we already know, which is helpful. It may be that we thought something was the case. We thought you were eligible. We thought you could apply for a certain benefit. We thought you could apply for a certain immigration benefit. But then it turns out now that we have this, it creates another problem and we can potentially resolve it doing this. And ultimately, both of these background checks, both of these requests are just to make sure that we have all of the information before we decide to act. Most, if not all clients, that's what they want. They want to be informed. They don't want to do something that risks them being deported. It helps you make an informed decision. If you learned something from this video, please let me know down below in the comment section. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you and God bless.